Welcome everyone to the 2024 Memorial Championship, wrapping things up at Vista del Camino, playing the XL layout. We have Ohn Scoggins, myself, Jennifer Allen, and Violet Main. We are rounding off the league card to wrap things up. It has been an amazing week in Scottsdale, Arizona. Big shout out to Terry Miller and Dustin for bringing you this amazing FPO coverage. Here we are starting things out. Hole number 1, 284 feet. This is a par 3. You must make it in between that triple mando. Hopefully slide your disc up towards circle 1. You will see that OB line surrounding the left side and coming in around the back side of the green, as well as the fence there on the right. Vista, we do have the right almost on every single tee to either go from the concrete teeing area or to the right of it, which is marked. This is typically how I like to play it, just trying to get that slide down the hill. The ground at Vista is very... You're going to get some skips. There's a lot of ground play here, so you have to use it to your advantage. And after a few days, we're learning that. Violet had skipped OB the yesterday's round, but she is able to keep it in bounds for today. Just inside the circle 1 mark, their Ohn drills that first birdie putt. Violet taking her meter in. Beautiful putt. Much better start than yesterday. Always a little more pressure when everyone else makes a nice long putt and you're sitting there pretty close. So you don't want to mess up that star frame. And that's 3 for 3 to start on hole 1. We did get a cut to 6 women. And so there was your 3 birdies on hole number 1. This is hole number 2, 415 feet. This is a par 3. You can try to go straight at the basket and get a little bit of a skip around the left side of that pine tree, or just stay right in the middle. Or if you decide to try to really get a big flex and go around the backside, you can sneak in around there close to the fence, which over the fence is OB. And again, sidewalk all along this entire park. That is the exact spot that Ohn always goes to. She's nailed that forehand approach several times. Not getting quite the turn that I did the day before. You can see it is springtime and the pollen is here. Violet getting great turn. Now she needs that to hyzer and scoot up and around. You don't want to get right behind that pine tree. It is pretty difficult to slide up there. So she's going to get out enough that she can have a hyzer in. And she gets that done perfectly. Every time.
I'm not comfortable, but I started.
Just laying it up. Little branches in the way. Hard to get a big jump putt when you have those low branches hanging down. So the three of us birdied on one. Now the three of us are going to get a par on hole 2. Big shout out to Spinners on the Green bringing us this event. Hole number 3, 360 feet. This is a par 3. You can take that hyzer line or go straight at it with a little flex shot. Hopefully you can get close enough to make your putt at this elevated basket. 11 elevated baskets here at Vista. 4 islands and 22 mando. So you have to be accurate here. Ohn getting a huge flex line. I think that's the closest drive I've seen her get. Turning that over way too much. Getting a little bit of a headwind starting to pick up. Gonna get a nice roll. It was supposed to be pretty windy both Saturday and Sunday, up into 20 miles per hour gust, but so far we've been pretty blessed with some beautiful weather all week. Don't want anything to do with that, so just gonna lay that up. Violet's gonna choose to do the same. Boring pars are still great pars. Very rarely will you ever see Ohn Scoggins, the best putter in the world, lay up anything. And with 3 players on the card, this moves pretty fast. We're going to move over to hole number 4. Hole 4, 381 feet. This is a par 3. Big hyzer line over there towards the apartments, or straight, trying to get right in front of that pine tree without skipping too far left to the OB line that wraps all the way around. This is a hole that most women are going to go for just the 3. Occasionally we can get a nice long putt.
Thank you.
As branches continue to grow, if they grow anymore, I don't know if I'm going to attempt that route anymore. But hopefully for a little bit longer, we can try to get that hyzer around the tree. Violet cranked this over way too far yesterday. Today, both of us having a little bit more stability. So it's kind of hard to get that line turned over without risking going OB on the right, but still getting around that tree. I believe that's about 100 feet. Again, just laying it up. Like Violet said, it can be boring, but also the odds of us hitting those really long putts. Even Ohn chooses to lay it up. Violet with her pretty consistent waffle putt there. And that's another star frame for our group. Hole number 5, 386 feet. This is a par 4. There are also 4 mandos, one there on the left, big pine tree on the right, and then the 2 right in the middle in front of the basket. Ohn's got great distance just to throw a nice straight shot that's going to skip back towards the middle. Laying up from there for the tap-in birdie. I changed disc and still somehow slid past that mando again. I think it was too much in my head from the day before. Definitely something I rarely ever do. I could pick a hole I was disappointed with. This is probably one of them. Violet wants nothing to do with it. Again, like I said, the play for FPO being a par 4 is just to play smart out in front, pitch it over, and get that tap in birdie.
No.
Flipping over that putter, missing not one, but both mandos. Definitely not how I wanted to put the pressure on Ohn. Violet going with a good little backhand touch shot. Just like that, how this hole should be played. After missing 2 mandos, I don't want anything to do with trying to make it any worse.
No, I switched it because I was like, okay, if I miss the mando.
I thought I had my game plan accurate and just going with the T-bird, and if I missed the mando, I'd miss the second mando. Except for I somehow figured out a way to miss that first mando, so.
I went with actually T-bird. But I was thinking like hole 1. Yeah. You know, I was like, okay.
Talking it out, talking it out.
But it is a really flip.
Big shout out to all the local sponsors who help bring you this coverage. Hole number 6 is 783 feet. This is a par 5. Choose right or left, landing somewhere there. Second shot, trying to get over this last little cluster of trees to your approach shot, which you can hopefully get next to this basket so you don't have too scary of a putt. You do see OB all the way up the right and left side, so lots of room for things to go wrong. Ohn is so accurate with her forehand shot. This is a pretty safe hole for her. Violet getting great distance, full flight of that disc.
I lift.
I stabled up from the destroyer that flipped on me yesterday. Trying to play that big skip and get out towards the middle.
What was supposed to happen yesterday?
Ohn getting so much turn. She's probably pretty lucky that that did catch up because that was headed towards the left OB line. Not sure if it would have cut back in or not, but she'll be safe in the middle.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's come back. Yes. Yeah.
Wanted to make sure that that thing was stable. Scared me for a half a second. Playing it safe though, it is a lot shorter than I typically try to go on that hole, but I did not want to risk going over that OB line on the right side. Violet gets incredible glide again on the second shot and the scoot, getting her probably up there to about 125 feet or so. Pretty awkward stance for Ohn. But she's going to get right up there inside circle 2. Release that completely wrong, way too high, way too straight at the basket, because I know there's going to be that roll to the left on this ground. That's the kind of approach you want for that tap-in birdie. And there's the same for Ohn. So leaving myself about 25 feet or so.
Get up. I'm like, what? Is he clapping for me?
I had a guy washing his dog and clapping his clapping his gloves off, getting the hair off right behind me. I thought he was going to cheer me on for the putt, but Violet tapping in birdie there. And I'm still going to save the par, and fortunate to not capitalize on that putt. And we're moving across the street. Thank you, Six Sided Disc, for sponsoring all week long. This is hole number 7, 645 feet. This is a par 5. Don't cross the sidewalk and go into the lake, as well as stay out of the street. You're going to land short of this sidewalk and make sure you're to the right of that mando. Disc must come to rest inside this island green. Get a good enough drive. You can attempt to go for it in 2 or just lay it up and play for the safe birdie. Violet not really getting the turn that I think she expected, so she's going to be pinched off over there to the left side. Pretty difficult to approach the green that far tucked in on the left. We'll see if she does it. Ohn gets great aim. Even though she doesn't attempt to go over, that's still right where you want to land. Going for that nice straight shot towards the water. Unfortunately, taking a huge skip and a roll. So wanted that to stay in the middle where it was supposed to, but got a lot of ground play. So Violet has driver in hand, attempting to make it over. She's going to need this to get real stable real quick. And unfortunately does not blow back inside. You can see the wind is kind of starting to pick up. It had the wind in her favor. I try to correct what Violet did, and I did, except for mine went just a hair too long, which I did not expect to do. Ohn says, girls, this is how you do it. You just lay it up, and then you lay it up again, and you take that tap-in birdie. Little early release.
Well, that's not what I was planning on doing.
Misfired with the hyzer yesterday, so switching it up to the forehand. Trying to stay close to that elevated. This is much better from Violet. So unfortunately, that's a double bogey. Gonna give a few back. Violet always staying positive, which is what you have to do. Getting mad doesn't typically help. So even with the OB stroke, I'm going to save par. And just like that, Ohn continues to open up that lead. One of the signature holes here at Vista, hole number 8, 360 feet, about 300 to cross the water safely. This is a par 3 going over there to kind of an island green. Surrounded sidewalk is OB. You can take the safe route over to the side, but this card says no landing safe for us. We're going straight over, getting right on the edge of circle 1. Going with the trusty Halo Rock 3. Almost love this tour series as much as my T-Bird for that reason. Violet almost went too long yesterday. I don't know if she tried to change that, but she does get very lucky to stay safe. Typically, you catch any of those branches, they quickly drop you straight down to the water. And with that soft little turnover approach, getting her about 12 feet or so. Dead center every time.
No question.
She works hard for that, ladies and gentlemen. Puts in a lot of practice.
Start break. Don't catch your breath. Come on. Jim Allen, Rock 3, baby.
Little commercial there. Sorry about that. All right, rounding out the front 9, hole number 9, 324 feet. This is a par 3. You want to try to get a nice straight shot through these trees and hyzering out to the basket over there. Just make sure you don't go too long past that sidewalk behind or too far to the left, and you'll find yourself OB in the pond there. Ohn going with that old destroyer. It's getting a little beat in, but gets a lot of great ground play. Going with the Rock X3. Let it go a little too low. I might be guessing wrong, but I believe Violet was throwing a Hawkeye quite a bit. I'm not sure if that was one of the times, but a beautiful, yeah, that's what I thought. Beautiful drive nevertheless. Just going to lay this up. Those branches are a little too low to try to attempt the jump putt. Automatic. And there was a pretty big gap between lead card and chase card, but a battle on both cards. And it's starting to become a battle between Violet and I. Ohn walking away with this front 9. Both of them getting the birdie to wrap things up here. I'm going to tap in this par and we'll see how everything ends up. All right, not too many changes. Ohn Scoggins still tearing it up out here. Myself and Violet sitting in second and third. And we have Hannah, Katerina, and Sophia rounding out the cards.